You know the drill. A dozen screens, a missed setting, and HR breathing down your neck because the wrong people got access. Again. Now imagine checking for collisions, pulling the approved template, and building the entire team client channel, private channel, owners, roster, and lockdown settings all in one go. By the end of this lab, that is exactly what you will do. Let's make it happen. You're learning how to stand up a project team with the right channels, ownership, and policy settings. To take that further, this course shows how to build AI agents that automate those kinds of administration tasks using Microsoft Graph, Python, and Azure AI so you can reduce manual effort across your Microsoft 365 environment. We start by building an identity that can sign in without a human, which makes every step schedulable. First, you check for naming collisions and provision from the approved template using Connect nggraph and New Team. Next, you verify what the template actually built with Get Team Channel and Select Object. Then you create the client-facing shared channel via New Team Channel and Add Team Channel User, followed by the HR-sensitive private channel using the same templates. You add the roster and get the ordering right with Add Team User, and finally lock in settings that match company policy with Set Team Fund settings and Set Team. You walk away with a set of scripts you can run on any Microsoft 365 tenant. Before any of this can be automated, the tenant needs an identity that a script can sign in as. We build that in code, because a course about automation should not start by asking you to click through a portal. By the end of this section, you will have an app registration, a service principal, and a connection that needs no human at all. We install the two modules our labs need, Microsoft Graph for directory and group work, and Microsoft Teams for channel and team management. We scope them to the current user so we do not need local admin rights. We connect interactively just this once. We ask for application read-write all to create the app registration, and app role assignment read-write all to grant admin consent. These are the minimum scopes for the setup itself, not for the course. We never guess a permission GUID. We fetch the graph service principal, filter its app roles by the exact names our coursemelets need, and capture the rail IDs. This is the only safe way to build a registration script. We build the permission request using the IDs we just looked up, and register an application called M365 Automation. The permissions cover creating teams, channels, adding members, and reading settings, exactly what the labs require, and nothing broader. We create the service principal, the identity the script runs as, and a client secret. A secret is convenient for a lab, but in production you would use a certificate. Note the 6-month expiry. Secrets that expire silently are the number one reason unattended scripts break. We grant admin consent for every permission we requested, then connect as the service principal itself. This is the unattended login the rest of the course uses. No consent dialog, no interactive prompt, real automation. The script installs the module silently, connects interactively once, and registers an app called M365 Automation. It looks up 8 specific permissions by name, creates a service principal and a 6-month secret, grants admin consent, and connects unattended. The tenant now has an identity ready for the course labs. When a new project kicks off, the first risk is duplication, 2 people creating similar teams a week apart, leading to sprawl. So before we create anything, we run a tenant-wide search using Microsoft Graph, because the Teams modules Get Team only sees teams you've already visited. Once we confirm the name is clear, we provision from the company's approved project management template. That pre-wires the standard channels, tabs, and apps the PMO expects, saving us from rebuilding that structure by hand. In this lab, you'll run the collision check, then create the team and watch for the immediate group ID while knowing the full team won't be ready for a minute or two. We'll connect to Graph, search for any existing team named Project Helios, then switch to the Teams module and create the team from the project management template. The search should return 0 results, and the creation will immediately output a group ID. First, connect nggraph with the team.readbasic.all scope lets us search all teams. Then get ngteam filters on display name equals Project Helios, with consistency level eventual and account variable that avoids a 400 error on unindexed properties. After connecting to Microsoft Teams, new team uses the template ID for the standard project management template, sets the display name, makes it private, and adds a description. We capture the result and display the group ID. The graph search returns no rows under ID, confirming no collision. Then new team immediately outputs a group ID that GUID is your team's backbone in Microsoft 365. But remember, behind the scenes SharePoint and tabs are still provisioning, so don't expect channels to be ready just yet. Admins often assume a template built exactly what they remember, but templates get edited over time. This step catches drift before you layer on custom channels. You'll pull the channel list using both the Microsoft Graph SDK and the Teams PowerShell module, proving that the group ID you captured earlier is the only identifier you need. There is no separate team ID for a groupback team. Watch for a short list, general, plus whatever the project management template ships, each marked standard. If you see only general, that's the provisioning delay from step 1, not a broken template. Let's confirm the foundation before we build on it. We'll run get mg team channel and get team channel against the same group ID. The output will be a tight table of channels, all with membership type standard, matching the template's default structure. First, get mg team channel uses the team ID parameter, which accepts the group ID stored in our team variable. We select display name, membership type, and description to see exactly what the template created. Then get team channel from the Teams module does the same lookup using group ID, confirming the identifiers are interchangeable. Both commands target the same underlying group, so the results should be identical. 3 channels come back: general, planning, and status updates, exactly what the project management template ships. Everyone shows membership type standard, meaning no private or shared channels slipped in from a template edit. Both commands return the same list, confirming the group ID is the team ID. If you had seen only general here, you'd wait a minute and rerun, because provisioning can lag. But this is clean, the template built what we expected, and we're ready to customize. When an external client needs visibility into a project, you don't want to add them as a full guest. That would give them access to the general channel, the group mailbox, and every internal conversation. A shared channel solves this by using Teams Connect, which creates a cross-tenant link that grants access to just this one channel. The external user never becomes a member of the Microsoft 365 group, so they can't see anything else. In this step, you'll create that channel and invite the client, then watch for the confirmation that the invite was sent. We'll create a shared channel called Client Helios Sync and invite the external stakeholder. The output will show the new channel's details and a silent success on the invite, which is exactly what we expect. First, new team channel creates the channel on the team we stored in the team variable. We set membership type to shared, which is the key parameter that enables Teams Connect. The display name makes it obvious this is for the client. Then add team channel user targets that same channel by display name and sends an invite to the external user at partnerco.com. No role is specified, so they get the default member permissions for that channel. The new channel appears with a GUID and membership type set to shared. Notice add team channel user return no output at all. That silent success is normal, but it's also the pitfall. If your tenant's external collaboration settings aren't enabled, this invite will sit pending forever with no error. If the client never gets access, that's the first thing to check. When a conversation involves sensitive topics like staffing or compensation, you need a space that most of the team cannot see. A private channel solves this by creating a restricted membership list drawn from the parent team, and it backs the channel with its own isolated SharePoint site so files stay hidden too. The critical design rule is that private channel membership is a subset of team membership. You cannot invite someone straight into a private channel, they must already belong to the parent team. In this lab, we will deliberately trigger that ordering trap so you can recognize the error and know exactly how to fix it. We will create a private channel called HR Staffing and then immediately try to add an external HR partner who was never added to the parent team. Watch for the error that proves the membership subset rule. First, new team channel targets our team by group ID and sets display name to HR Staffing. The membership type is private, which triggers the restricted membership and the separate SharePoint site. The description makes the purpose clear. Then add team channel user attempts to add hr.partner.contoso.com to that channel, even though this user is not a member of Project Helios itself. The command fails with an explicit error: the user is not a member of the team. This is the must be a team member first trap we described. The fix is to add hr.partner.contoso.com to the parent team first, then run add team channel user again. That ordering is non-negotiable for private channels. Step 4 failed because we tried to add someone to a private channel who wasn't yet a team member. That ordering matters. Channel membership is a subset of team membership, so the roster has to be built from the outside in. We'll fix that now by adding our HR partner and the rest of the cross-functional roster to the team first. Then we'll promote the project sponsor to owner. A team with a single owner becomes an orphan the moment that person leaves the org, so governance requires at least 2. Watch for the retried channel invite to succeed once the HR partner is on the team, and then we'll confirm both owners appear in the role check. We'll run 3 commands: 2 add team user calls to place the HR partner as a member and the sponsor as an owner, then a retry of add team channel user for the private channel. The output will show the channel invite succeeding this time. First, add team user adds hr.partner.contoso.com to the team as a regular member. Next, the same command adds sponsor contoso.com with the role parameter set to owner, promoting them immediately. Finally, we retry a team channel user targeting the HR staffing channel and the HR partner's user principal name. Because they are now a team member, this call should complete without the earlier error. All 3 commands complete silently, which is the expected success behavior for these commands. The absence of an error on the channel invite confirms the ordering fix. Team membership was the prerequisite. Now we'll run get team user with the owner role filter to verify the sponsor promotion actually took, because older module versions can silently ignore the owner flag if the user wasn't already a member. When a new team is provisioned, the focus is usually on adding owners and channels, and the compliance settings get forgotten. But fun settings like Giphy and stickers, and governance controls like who can create channels, are configured per team. They do not inherit from a tenant-wide policy that applies automatically. That means every new team starts open until you explicitly lock it down. In this step, you are going to apply the company's no external content policy by disabling Giphy, stickers, and custom memes, and then you will restrict channel creation and app management to owners only. Watch for the commands to complete silently, that is your confirmation the settings took server-side. After this, the team is fully provisioned and compliant. I'm going to run 2 commands: set team fun settings to kill Giphy, stickers, and memes, and set team to lock down channel creation and app permissions. Both will return no output on success, which is exactly what we expect. First, set team fun settings targets the team by its group ID. We set allow Giphy to false, Giphy content rating to strict, and both allow stickers and memes and allow custom memes to false. This removes every fun content option from the compose bar. Next, set team uses the same group ID and sets allow create update channels, allow delete channels, and allow add remove apps all to false, so only owners can modify channels or install apps. No output means the settings applied. Both commands completed with no output, no errors, no confirmation message. That silent success means the settings are now applied server-side. The Giphy and sticker options will disappear from the compose bar for all members, though anyone already in an open Teams session will need to restart the client to see the change because the client caches those settings locally. The team is now fully provisioned, compliant, and ready for Project Helios. You have now automated the entire process of standing up a new project team, from the initial collision check and template provisioning through to channel creation, roster assignment, and policy enforcement. The single most useful thing to carry away is that every step in this workflow has a command behind it, which means you can chain them together into one repeatable script and never manually click through the admin center for a new team again.